Greetings! What is up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. The sun is shining and the magpie is casting at last today. It's been a busy one. I had a lot of work to do, but I'm back at my computer now. And I'm coming at you with a live 1 versus 1 battle fresh from the top of the Company of Heroes 2 ladder, featuring a spawning in the west here. Playing as the Vermac pieces, it is going to be Happy Cat. And spawning in the east, playing as the Soviets, it's going to be Typhleger. So let's see, looks like it's a techless opening here for Typhleger. We're going to be having some conscripts coming out onto the field. And it's going to be double MG42 opener here for Happy Cat, so that is probably an adaptation to Kolodny. A lot of nice lanes to lock down with MG42s, and this building, ever powerful on this map for helping control super relevant areas. So it's going to be double MG42, also techless. So we'll see what the teching intentions are there. Does have access to the defensive doctrine if Happy Cat wants to go for some Ostropen. And yes, yeah, I guess that'll be that. So, whilst these two players get their early game stuff sorted, I'll take a minute right here to say, had a very awesome, very fun cast with Bozo Cow yesterday. We cast the finals of the recent Jiraki Cup. It's a Homeworld Deserts of Karak organised play tournament, which is pretty cool. And then we cast a lovely 5-game show match series between Discara and No Fun. And that was also really good fun. So you can find the VODs for that on twitch.tv/magpie842 or over at Bozo Cow's Twitch, which I actually don't know off the top of my head. So yeah, just a quick plug for some other Magpie-related content there. For those of you who are still in lockdown at home, jonesing for more Magpie stuff, you can find it on my Twitch channel there. Let's see. Yeah. Just wondering if there's anything else. I mean, let's face it. Now that I'm doing like more or less daily casts here in lockdown, there's not too much to update you guys on between casts. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything super out there. No, not off the top of my head. So let's turn our attention to this game. Looks like the Soviet player is getting off to a pretty good start. If we correct the tack, we can see that a lot of the map right now is turning red. What are we up to now? 4 squads of conscripts. And kind of just avoiding the MG42s and finding value out on the map right now as Typhleger, and that's pretty cool. It's usually I think conscript-based openers do sort of suffer against Vermacs. Pardon me, when the Vermac player does go for MG42s, but I think because of this map and because of the way the engagements came together there, Typhleger's getting off to a real nice start here. Scoreline differential beginning to open up, resource differential likewise. And we've got Panzer Grenadiers going to be next out of the gates here for Happy Cat, and definitely does need some punchy sort of frontline core infantry, so those Panzer Grenadiers will be a welcome addition to the roster. Typhleger, right now the engineers are back at base. Let's see if there's going to be a support weapon Campanile thrown down. Actually, no? Wow, okay. Looks like we're going to keep playing techless for now. That is... So let's take a look at the commanders that we've got for these two players here. Happy Cat's rolling with the Elite Troops Doctrine, is that one? Yep. Defensive... something. I know this is the guy who gets Pack 43 and hull down for tanks and Panzer Tack, I think, and maybe the Panzerville Command Tank. I can't remember his name though. He used to be a favourite of mine. Festung Armour. Christ, it's been a while since I've seen Festung Armour. Yeah, Panzer Tack, hull down, Command Tank, Pack 43, and Railway Artillery, of course, that was the other one. So this one has actually remained unchanged since the release of the game, at least insofar as the abilities he has, even if those abilities have changed somewhat. Interesting. Used to be a favourite of mine because hull down is so fun to use, and you also get Panzer Tack and Command Tank, and those are both useful. Not a fan of the Pack 43 myself. It always feels bad. I just don't like it. But the other abilities on that commander are all Magpie approved. And we've got the defensive doctrine here, and that is a favourite. The Stuggy is great. The sector artillery is useful. Ostropen are amazing. So a lot of value to be found there. Again with the Pack 43, but. Maybe that's just a thing that Happy Cat is actually pretty confident using. I mean, I'm sure that the Pack 43 is a powerful thing. If you can pull it off correctly, then, I'm sure it's amazing. But I have not really ever seen it overperform, and I don't know. It's not for me. Typhleger here is running with, what is this, NKVD Giza? Sorry, Shock Rifle Frontline Tactics, that's the one. So this is the IS-2 commander. who also gets the KV-8 and the incendiary artillery and the shock troops. We've got... oh! He's actually going to go ahead and pick that commander that I was just talking about. Okay, so that is going to be the pick here. That's pretty sensible for the map. He goes ahead and picks it at this timing so he can add the shock troops to his roster, continuing to be a techless playstyle here. Looks like the Leichter Mechanized Armor Company... Sorry, the Leichter Mechanized Armor Company? The Leichter Mechanized Company has finished here for Happy Cat, so... We'll have access to pack guns and so forth. Pack gun, obviously the most important one from that building, but may opt to build a 222 or even a 251 half track as this game goes on. Up to 2 squads of Panzer Grenadiers now. Here is Happy Cat. Looks like Molotovs have finished on these conscripts. Wow, goodness me. It feels like it's been a hot minute since I've seen a conscript build. So that's kind of crazy. Oh, sorry, since I've seen a Molotov build. Sorry, my bad, sorry. I'm keeping half an eye on my sound settings here because for some reason everything seems a little bit quiet for me. But anyway, so yeah, we got Molotovs, we got Shock Troop Techless, still Techless opening. Look how much fuel he's stacking, actually. This is super interesting. You do need to have the Mechanized Armor Campanile before you can bring in the KV-8 flamethrower tank, though, so we'll have to build some... Ah, here we go. So support armor weapon... Support... Oh, my goodness, I don't know what's up with me today. I keep throwing the word armor into the name of buildings. But yeah, the support weapon Campanile are going to be constructing here, and that does make sense. I think Maxims are just always going to be good on this map. Nice Molotov, geez, driving a lot of value out of cover. That is one way of swinging the fight there. Oh, oof, nicely done. Gonna allow these conscripts to fight for a little longer. Shock troops sharking around looking for an opportunity, but they have been scouted, and I don't think Happy Cat will expose any Panzer Grenadiers to their PPSHs anytime soon. This MG42 a little exposed. There we go. He's gonna reroute that one back. Scout car has arrived. Yep, 222 scout car going to be moving out here, and that is going to be really useful, actually. There is basically nothing in this army that can easily get to grips with that. Anti-vehicle grenades aren't actually here. They're not even on the way, but they are kind of helpful, but not. They're not really a hard counter to the 222 scout car. And here comes the back gun now. Mechanized armor camp. Sorry, Tank V Battalion Command. Finishing up here in a little bit. So this pack gun, pretty much the mandatory. Buy this so that you don't die to a T-70 pack gun. It is a tax that Axis players have to pay if you don't have scouting of your opponent's base to figure out their tech timings, which you usually don't as Wehrmacht, unless you've got some crazy airborne recon or something spicy in their base. So a reasonably good game so far, actually. These players seemingly evenly matched. Love the way the Pioneers here are being used to screen for the Panzer Grenadiers. Bunderu Grenade comes down here. Actually not really finding those conscripts. Molotov coming down again. Molotov's looking quite good in this game. Has the animation speed on Molotovs increased? Or maybe my eyes are just not as good at spotting it beginning, because it's not often we really see Molotovs being used. So I'm just not really, my eyes are not really used to looking for that animation starting. But it does seem like the Molotov is a little faster to throw. Is it still, how much is a Molotov these days? 20 munitions. Wow, okay. Huh. All right. That seems to be more than I remember. I remember it being like 15, so perhaps it's had a cost increase, but it's a little bit more usable now. That would make sense, because basically we never saw it because it was like terrible. So if it is now much more usable, then a cost increase seems justified. T-70 is actually going to be the choice here, so here comes the light tank here. That will be met by a pack gun and a 222, so if things go right here, the Axis player can cobble together a kill on that one. But, you know, a T-70 can still definitely thrive on a battlefield like this. It all comes down to the micro and the engagements here from both players. Looks like Happy Cat finally establishing a little bit of map presence here. Finally, maybe even going to get a triple cap here. Scoreline differential beginning to close up again. But neither player has any real cause for major concerns in that department anytime soon. So, Pack Gun does acquire the T-70, but it rolls a miss on its first shot and its second. So the T-70 is actually going to be able to sneak away unharmed here to continue plying its deadly trade. Probably going to transition into north here, perhaps. There is a lot of Axis units up there where a T-70 could be useful. Let's just take a look at the tech here. So Battle Phase 2 just coming down here now for Happy Cat. And this has been quite a straightforward early game here. both players doing some pretty cool stuff with regards to teching, but that is the fantastic thing about Company of Heroes 2 these days. You know, the community balance team have really made teching much more of a variable and decision-intensive process. And that's really cool. Makes the game so much more interesting to watch and play. So a second pack gun actually going to be getting added in. Wow. That is quite the commitment to anti-tank resources. You know what? I actually don't hate it on this map. Double pack gun, double MG42 actually makes life quite hard for your Soviet opponent, because the Soviet player in this dynamic is kind of the attacker, if you like. I'm not saying that they're attacking the Axis base or anything like that, but Soviet units generally at this stage in the game have to try, especially against this kind of composition, and when you have these kinds of Soviet units, like, the dynamic here is that the Soviet units have to close in to deal damage. So the Soviet player is sharking around, looking for openings, looking for gaps that are not covered by weapon teams, to come in with the T-70 like this, and to come in with the conscripts, who actually a squad has just been wiped, and to come in with the shock troops and stuff. And this is actually going horrendously. Sorry, I'm explaining the dynamic of this game, but there is action occurring. And this T-70 is going to get taken out. That was kind of a pretty bad T-70, to be honest. Yeah, he took a dive to come around, disrupt the Axis army, and try and get some damage, maybe pick off a weapon team or two. But, I mean, there was just... The 222 had it covered, this pack gun back here as well. And that T-70 goes down. The shock troops were lost as well. Ah! Well, that was a monumentously poor engagement there for the Soviet player, it turns out. Losing two squads of very valuable core infantry and the T-70 does leave the Soviet forces pretty outnumbered, outgunned, out-sophisticated, there's just no technicality to this army anymore. A Zis gun providing pretty much the only kind of spice, if you like, in this army. Oh god, I'm really reaching if I have to describe a Zis gun as spicy. So, okay, Typhliger here in a terrible position, and I actually think that some players would probably have left the game around about there. But this game is definitely not over. Company of Heroes 2 is definitely an RTS of comebacks, more so than almost any other RTS. RTSs are traditionally incredibly unforgiving genre, but Company of Heroes 2 does have some mechanics in it that actually do give some advantages to the player who's trailing. Not many, but some. So we'll see here. It looks like a T-70 is going to be rebought. Oh, I don't know about this at all. So Typhliger here spending all their fuel on going for another T-70. I mean, dude, didn't you scout the fact that your opponent has double pack gun 222? I think just save the fuel for now. But that's just my feeling, and I could be wrong. So, I don't know. I feel like this... You know how I'm often very critical on the channel of how Soviet players throw medium tank after medium tank into the game and they're just not performing? I feel like we've kind of reached that dynamic, but a little bit earlier here for Typhliger, where we're just kind of building T-70s to try and maintain the status quo of our unit composition and like and the sort of dynamic and our position in the game, but like no amount of T-70 is really going to help against this composition here. Well, I mean, like 10 T-70s might, but like one is not going to help. So I don't know. I mean, he can definitely get work done with this T-70, but I just feel like the time in the game when T-70s were the right thing to be building is long past. I suppose he has helped to some extent. Okay, so both pack guns are here. Oh, this is yikes. He is helped to some extent by the fact that this is an infantry company-less opening, so there are actually no Panzerfaust in this army right now. So the T-70 able to navigate the map and advance and be a bit more aggressive than usual. And the shock troops also being rebought now. But this Axis army is looking pretty scary. Support Armor Corps was built. So clearly some intention here on the part of Happy Cat to go for a Stug, a Panzer IV, or an Ostwind. Any of them pretty much would be really good here. I almost think like this... I mean, the Panzer IV is the default choice, you know, because it's just a great medium armor choice that will serve you well in many ways and scales even quite well if you look after it into the later phases of the game. And also Kolodny is to be honest, quite a good map for Panzer IVs. But when you're ahead like this, you can actually save yourself the, 20 fuel and just go for the Ostwind. And the Ostwind will bully a T-70, and it will be more effective than a Panzer IV against all of these infantry units. If you get round onto the Zis gun, it's almost GG at that point with the Ostwind. So I actually think this is a rare circumstance where I can wholeheartedly recommend an Ostwind over a Panzer IV because you just have the advantage and you just want to Hadouken punch your opponent with the most shockingly powerful unit right now, and I think that is actually the Ostwind. That is a very kind of aggressive line though, And the Panzer IV provides nearly the same utility and a little bit more elsewhere. And it just costs a little more here, so it's going to be a Panzer IV. This is definitely the safer choice. And even a Stug would have been a fine choice, but there's nothing about this battlefield or situation which sort of screams that a Stug is the thing to be doing, so that's absolutely fine. I can completely understand why we're not doing that. So yeah, Panzer IV is going to be coming out here. It will be met by double Zis gun. Anti-vehicle grenade research has finished. Great. So yeah, this Panzer IV has to operate with the regular amount of caution with which Wehrmacht players are used to using their Panzer IVs, and as long as Happy Cat observes that, this Panzer IV ought to be able to do pretty well on this battlefield. You have to feel, as long as he doesn't overextend into fog of war or send the Panzer IV out in ways where it's not well supported and could be exploited by the Zis guns and the anti-vehicle grenades, then yeah, Happy Cat should be in a great position in this game. And we'll see what his decking intentions will be. Still got the flexibility to pick any commander here, and this is actually really interesting because one thing that we are kind of used to seeing infantry company-less Wehrmacht play nowadays, which is such a great thing to be able to say. But it's almost always combined with some sort of commander-based spice. There are actually some mines here and here. Oof, this Panzer IV is close. There are metal detectors on these Pioneers though, so if those Pioneers get in the hood, then he will be able to be alerted to the danger. But as I was just saying, this is a really cool example of how to play infantry company-less Wehrmacht without leaning on a commander to try and get additional value or fill gaps in your utility lineup. Okay, finally those mines find their mark on the Panzer IV, so that's a little bit annoying, but that should be rapidly repaired here. So, I don't know, those of you who are Wehrmacht players, whip out your notebook and take some notes, because this is a really good, middle-of-the-road, safe way of doing an infantry company-less build that is an interesting take for me on Wehrmacht's hacking. So this is like the most vanilla. I just have really enjoyed it. Double Pioneer, double MG, double Panzer Grenadier, double Pack Gun with some supporting vehicles. No commander needed. This is just a way of playing without building infantry company. To be honest, he even could have skipped to battle phase 3 here. I mean, the Panzer IV is nice to have, but it is non-essential. He was winning quite well on the battlefield, and I don't really feel like this Panzer IV is like answering any specific threat. It's just a general block of value. It's a general block of battlefield force, and he was under actually. Happy Cat was actually under no pressure to go for. Oh my God! Finds the T-70. He was actually under no pressure to have to go for to convert his resources into battlefield force. Certainly the manpower, certainly the fuel, I should say. So yeah, could have actually saved and teched. Could have gone for an early Panther. Could have gone for a spicy Brumbar. Could have gone for a Tiger build and a fast Tiger. Those would all have been fine. But I mean, this Panzer IV is also fine. I'm just saying the door was open to those kinds of spicy tactics, the strategies, builds, whatever words, RTS. Looks like we've got a mortar mixed in here, and I do like that. TIE Flyer is clearly the underdog in this situation, and the mortar is a really good way of making life really annoying for your Axis opponent, especially your Wehrmacht opponent. So that's a pretty smart choice. I think that's really cool. And to be honest, for a Soviet army that has lost 2 T-70s and some core infantry squads, and kind of is on the back foot insofar as army technicality and composition go, TIE Flyer here is giving a really good account of themselves out on the battlefield. Battle Phase 3, please note, about to finish here for the Axis player. TIE Flyer is giving a really good account of themselves, still maintaining control over fuel and ammunitions, and actually kind of keeping the Axis player under the clock. The scoreline as near as makes no difference even, and that is actually a really great place to be for a Soviet player who has fallen behind in terms of like the actual combat on the map. So TIE Flyer, we can't be losing conscripts here though. TIE Flyer doing everything that they can to try and stay alive in this game, like that conscript who will sneak away. So that's also a little bit lucky there for TIE Flyer. Those conscripts kind of overstayed their welcome out on the map, but that's okay. They're going to get away with it on this occasion. So that's some incendiary artillery going to be used to kind of just deny middle VP. I have to say, I think that's... Why are we doing this? We kind of already had a Maxim here. This seems like a little bit hasty. I would say that's kind of a mistake. Obviously, we can see now there is no value. Nobody is burning here. That's the kind of play that you want to make later on in the game when control of the victory points is everything and your opponent is gasping for victory points and desperately pushing onto the victory points pardon me, with their infantry. But that's not the case right now, and that was, what, 120 munitions, which, to be honest, TIE Flieger cannot really afford to spare right now. Can we talk about the double GR34 that's queued up on the roster here for Happy Cat? Wow. I can't not like it. GR34s are amazing. I can't not like it. Yeah, sure, add 2 of them to the roster. Why not? So, I mean, this counters almost half of your opponent's army because smoke and mortar shells are really good against these 4 weapon teams here. Katyusha? These 2 players are just doing stuff, which I don't fully understand, but I am loving. So yeah, the double GR34 is really nice, actually. This kind of makes the game the Soviets player's problem again. The Axis player can just happily take control of the midline of the map and then just be like, come at me, bro. It's on. I can just sit back here with my mortars and make life hell for you, and you have to advance in here. And I actually think that that is not the worst sort of play style to aim for Wehrmacht. So, okay. You know, we've still got an MG42 in this central building. We've... You know, I just like what I'm seeing here. So, okay, there's a Katyusha. This is a difficult one. I'm not really sure how to unpack the logic or the sort of thought process behind going for a Katyusha first out of your mechanized armor Campanier. How much are they? 85 fuel. Okay. Alright, here we go. I just feel like this Katyusha is incredibly fragile, and you are already not really able to... Oh god, he gets a GR34. Nice. You're already not really able to cleanly answer the Panzer IV, and if you ever let that Katyusha take a barrage from just, like, a meter too close to the Axis player's position, or specifically the Panzer IV, that Katyusha is just dead. Even with 2 Zis guns, the Panzer IV can just drive up and shoot that thing. And Happy Cat is far enough ahead where you might actually be okay trading a Panzer IV for that Katyusha. I mean, it's not the greatest trade, but if it just keeps your opponent from being able to do anything about winning the game, then that's probably an acceptable trade. And that's a worst case scenario for the Axis player as well. There's no guarantee that that Panzer IV is going to die, even if it takes a bad dive onto the Katyusha. If he takes a good dive and just cleanly snipes it, or if he gets lucky with the Zis gun shots, and Zis guns with like no stars of veterancy, you know, we call them miss guns for a reason. They are not the best AT guns. They're fine. They are okay, but they really do need veterancy before they start handling and feeling like M1s or pack guns, you know, and like actually reliably hitting and reliably penetrating stuff. So I don't know, man. These Panzer Grenadiers coming close to death, that would have been a lovely pickup for a TIE Flieger, but he's not going to find them, so a little unlucky perhaps there. So I don't know about this Katyusha is what I'm saying. I like the idea, but I think it may just be too hard to defend in practice. But fuel income is still reasonable right now for TIE Flieger. And so he will actually be able to take something that he can hide the Katyusha behind, like an Su-85 or... I don't like a T-34 here because your opponent just already has 2 pack guns and a Panzer IV. Like, what is a T-34 going to achieve here? It's not going to change the dynamic of the game in a way which is... it's not going to bring the change that you need to see into the game here as the Soviet player. That's the problem. Zis gun here getting hooned down by 3-star. Oh god, the Katyusha barrage is real nice. Did we forget that our opponent had a Katyusha? These are some very clustered. Oh, juicy. Oh yeah, come on. Come on! Gets the pack gun. Yeah. Alright, Panzer IV angling though, angling to come in here. Knows that the Zis gun has been removed from the equation. Where's the other Zis gun? This is what I mean about the Panzer IV coming in for a trade. Oh no, he misses. Oh god. Alright, well this is the worst case scenario that I talked about. Now he has a Panzer IV with a broken engine in arc of a Zis gun. Oh no, he moved the Zis gun. Oh no, the Zis gun's being mismicroed. I mean... Oh no, this hedge here is a killer. Just attack ground! There we go. We have to get this Panzer IV. If he gets away with the Panzer IV, this game's basically over. There's just too much value for an Axis player to have accumulated. Hail Mary mines! Oh! Okay, he does get the Panzer IV. Getting a bit lucky there. Oh no, not the shock troops. Okay, they're going to survive somehow. Jeez. This game for the Soviet player is balanced on a knife's edge. This is just rough. Okay, so he gets the Panzer IV for the Katusha. That's probably fine for the Axis player who is sitting on Tiger money. How much manpower do you need? 800, yeah. So it is about to have Tiger money. Yeah, honestly, I think trading out the Panzer IV for the Katusha is kind of fine here for the Axis player. It's just fine. Because the Soviet player is still just trapped on this horrible position where they're just kind of behind in every way. Now he's building a T-34. Bro, you don't even know. What do you think the Axis player has been doing with their fuel this whole game, man? Oh, no. Okay, alright, so silver linings with T-34, perhaps. I'm using my most optimistic, like, casting analysis here. This actually, Kolodny Farm is a map which does have quite a girth on it. The middle of the map is quite wide, and the map is broadly split into 3 lanes. You've got south, mid, and north. So this is actually a map where a Tiger cannot be everywhere at once, and Tigers are not the fastest units. And honestly, I think that the heavy tanks in this game are actually balanced around being quite slow. And I don't think that weakness is actually very pronounced on a lot of the more popular maps. And I've said this often enough on the channel, so forgive me for repeating myself. Regular viewers will know. So yeah, I think if you're playing on Langreskaya, Crossroads, or Faymanville, any of the sort of very small maps like that, I think that there is almost no downside to a heavy tank. It's just one of the most powerful units going. But Kolodny is like the smallest possible map, which is still big enough for the speed to be exploited on a heavy tank. So basically, this Tiger can only be in north or mid or south, I think. There are some cunning spots you can put it, like, you know, if you manage to get it to here, then it's covering like mid and south, and if you get it to like, I don't know, actually there is no real equivalent position in north on this map, but anyway. So perhaps we can attack with the or this could happen. I was going to say, perhaps we can just use the T-34 a bit like a heavy T-70 and just be attacking wherever the Tiger isn't. But I mean, oh god. Okay, well that was a free T-34. If we can break the engine on the... Oh, he did actually break the engine with the Ram. Sorry, I didn't see that. And there are 2 Zisguns picking away at this Panzer IV. Sorry, at this Panzer 7, I believe it was. Wait, Panzer 4, Panzer 5, 6. It's a Panzer 6. Yeah, it's just not good enough, though, is it? He can attack ground. You should probably attack ground. He's actually going to try and bring the Zisgun through. Okay. He really wants this Tiger. Okay, I take it all back. He's going to get the Tiger tank. In which case, the T-34 was amazingly worth it. Wow. All right. Now this game is open. That Tiger was not supposed to die in that engagement. And that is a really nice kill for Typhliger. I am impressed. The scoreline is becoming a concern, but the Axis player doesn't have a fuel bank. So we're almost at a place... Look at the top left, look at the top right. These armies are nearly an even match for each other. Like, clearly the Axis player still has the advantage, but it ain't insurmountable. And there's actually going to be Soviet medium armor on the battlefield before the Axis player has any tanks of their own. Now, if I'm honest, I still don't like this T-34 because your opponent still has double pack gun, 222, no Panzerfausts, but so you need the pack guns are a problem. T-34s don't do well under pack gun fire, and 2 pack guns can kill a T-34 like, pardon me, incredibly quickly. So I'm not in love with the position here for Typhliger. I'm not in love with the choice of a T-34. But this game is now the closest I feel like it's been since that really early engage where the Soviet player got put down to like 3 squads of conscripts and their engineers when they lost like some conscripts, a shock, and the T-70. I feel like this is the closest it's been since then. So, okay, here comes the T-34. Alright. The world is your oyster. This map is a blank canvas. Typhliger, this is your moment. Time to live your best life. Micro your heart out. Make your best decisions. Exploit this Axis player, find value in this game, impress me. Don't fuck it up. So, yeah, there we go. Shoutouts to RuPaul's Drag Race, by the way, for that one. That is not a Magpie original. So, okay. Okay, well let's crack the tack now. Both players are sort of positioning here. G43 upgrades now finishing on these Panzergrams. Yikes. So okay, the Soviet player needs to control VPs because the scoreline is going to be the real enemy now. Yeah, that's how the Axis player wins this game. So the Axis player essentially has a better army, and the army is more able to access more VPs. I'm sorry. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry. Something just popped up on my other screen. But we're good. We're back to casting. Oh, what? The T-34 overrun? No. No! I'm impressed. I am impressed, Typhliger. Wow. Wow. Okay, girl. I see you. This is, it's getting pretty out there. I mean, he's kind of breaking through a little bit. This MG42 is the only thing holding off the Soviet wave now. Oh no! Was that some mines there that broke the engine? I think some mines broke the engine. Okay, so he loses the T-34, but that isn't even that good of a unit. It was probably worth it to trade for the 3-star Panzer Grenadiers. I don't know, maybe. So now we're left in this situation in mid. $117 tickets remaining. Soviet forces take south. Axis forces desperate to retake mid. This Maxim is making life hell, but there ain't much HP left on this unit. This mortar as well, actually. This mortar has been okay. For only having 1 kill, it's done a lot of damage. The GR-34s as well have been racking up kills and XP, so interesting stuff. Oh, Katusha again! I don't even know anymore. Okay, I think he lost an engineer squad there. Oh, no, it was a Zisgun. Okay, he lost one of his Zisguns, I think. Whew, this game. Looks like we caught ourselves a good one here. Stormtroopers are out. Look at Molotovs being okay in this game. Look at them denying value to the Axis player. Anytime your Axis player is moving units away from Molotov fires, those units are not fighting and they're just getting shot. And if you look at how the battles go, you know, Molotovs are a very interesting resource for forcing your opponent to move their units. Let's put it that way. That is the sound of double GR-34 raining in. Listen to that distinctive... Sounds a little weird, doesn't it? Well, okay. The Katusha is here, though. This is... Oh, God. Oh, this is a big barrage. Oh, God. He finds a cluster of 3 Axis weapon teams, which have kind of been the backbone of this army since minute 1 of the game. The double MG42s. If you can get one of these, just to wipe the veterancy off it would be nice. 3-star MG42s just do work against this kind of composition, especially when the game right now is all about pushing out onto the map and taking these VPs. And those MG42s are actually the most important resource for the Axis player in controlling that. So the Axis player is stacking fuel again, though, and not spending it, so I don't know what the intention is there. And to be fair, Happy Cat has time to work with now. 316 tickets is something of a bank. So, is this going to be another Tiger? It certainly looks like it, doesn't it? That Katusha barrage, though, 10 kills, nearly getting its first star of veterancy. Those are the opening barrages we love to see on Katushas.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Get the hell out of there!
The enemy has 300 points remaining.
Okay, well, we got the triple cap here. I mean, Typhliger is actually making it happen. I'm constantly concerned about losing any of these units would just be devastating right now for the Soviet player. But apart from that, this has been a wicked sick game. Like, Typhliger has come alive since picking off that Panzer IV and then the Tiger. And I mean, this is looking great. I mean, well, it's not looking. It's looking great given how grim it did look. We're still on thin ice, though. This is like an Axis player who's probably about to have their second Tiger tank. I mean, there's just no other way this money's being spent, is there? And, I mean, is that the right choice? Yeah, probably. I think it is. This 222 as well has been just great this game. Look at it go. Oof. Alright, Katusha. Don't you just die to this 222? It's an unsupported Katusha trying for unscouted value. This is a speculative barrage. Only fires off one. Wow. Huh, not sure what I make of that barrage, if I'm honest.
The enemy has taken our supply sector. Mortar attack!
Oof. This is what happens when mortar squads. It's like a 2v1 exchange, and the Soviet mortar just cannot stay and fight. That means that the Maxim is probably next on the chopping block. I cannot believe that TIE Flieger is like making this happen. So 800 manpower is the amount to look for here for Happy Cat. That the cost of a fresh veteran Tiger. Just what a crazy game we find ourselves in here. TIE Flieger making this game go on way longer than I thought that it might have. Based on how that early game, like, there was just a shattering blow dealt by Happy Cat. What are you going to do about this 222, man? It has been wrecking you. Mines. Mines. Oh, they were detected! Oh, sick. Oh, the Pack 40 chipping in for value. This is not going to work. But the Ziskan is here. Oh, the barrage not really finding its mark. The Katusha is reloaded, though. So it's creeping forwards. We can see it on the minimap. Here we go. Alright, Katusha. Su-85 is the pick. TIE Flieger, I might be in love. This is a heroic story of Soviet resistance. Alright. Putting the Katusha barrage here. Alright, so now we force back the MG42. So now can we get back out and grab a VP? Yes, we can! The conscripts are already here. TIE Flieger. Jesus. Oh, he cancels the Su-85. I'm calling off the engagement. That was the right choice. You know your opponent's about to have a Tiger. Why aren't we spending the fuel that way? Are we going for IS-2? That's literally just worse. You know, okay. Alright, let's be real about this. The IS-2 does have some upsides over the Su-85, obviously. It is much the betterer against all of the units on the top row here. But I feel like your real problem in this game is the unit in the bottom row, and the Su-85 is better against that one. I also feel like an Su-85 doesn't break the bank, so you can buy an Su-85 and then bring out an IS-2 a little bit later? I don't know. I don't know. I'm always skeptical when Soviet players try to beat a Tiger with support with an IS-2. Like, it's just such a tough fight for the IS-2. But the thing about the IS-2 is it is great at squad wiping infantry. Like, the main gun on that thing is like pulverizingly powerful, and if you upgrade it with the Dushka, you know, wiping core infantry is a real strategy in this game in the late game, and it's very hard to recover from that. And the IS-2 is good at that is good at attacking that angle of play. So, you know, I'm open to being convinced. I mean, this is the other disadvantage of the IS-2 though. The Su-85 would have been out. And the IS-2 is still not even on the... Well, I suppose it doesn't go on the queue, but it's like... It's still not here. So he needs to find 640 manpower for that one. Triple cap actually established, so... actually, TIE Flieger is under pressure right now. And this is the thing, if you have an Su-85 out here, also, the other thing about the Su-85 is, focused sight actually synergizes really well with Katusha, because you actually have a much better idea of where you're putting your barrages. And the IS-2, well, I suppose it also provides scouting. Okay, so here we go. All right, we break the MG, we break the mortar, so we have to take the map, we have to take middle VP now, but there's still a Tiger here. We don't really have an answer for that. Okay, the IS-2 is out now. Josef Stalin 2. Yeah, the IS-2 actually, a rare case where the sequel was better than the original. I watched IS-1, terrible film. Okay, so conscripts get onto mid, and conscripts capture south. That is, for the time being, mission accomplished for TIE Flieger. Now, but the trouble is, can you handle the Axis counterattack? And you kind of need to, because if you lose control of the midline, you kind of lose the game now. So, alright, IS-2 is going to be angling around here. Oh, no munitions actually for the Dushka. That's kind of big. That's big for two reasons. You want the anti-infantry DPS, and you also want the veterancy. Okay, the Maxim goes down, and that's a really important unit to be losing now. Pat guns actually have the IS-2. Oh god, it's horribly pinned behind this church. Yeah, that's probably a dead IS-2. That's looking so bad. Okay, but the Tiger tank is actually acquired by the Zis guns, so... Ooh, okay, now he has to take shots from the Pat gun whilst he gets out of here. Get the IS-2 out of here, bro! Don't just be sitting in front of the Zis guns. Sorry, the Pat guns. Oh, you're making me anxious! Oh no, he rolls forwards? Well... now it's definitely a dead IS-2, right? Because you're taking damage from the Tiger, and then you have to go past the Pat guns to get out. Roll forwards, get into its rear armor. Okay, no, right. That would have been pretty out there as far as Texas. Okay, now it should die. Bonk, bonk. Yeah. I don't know. The other thing about the Su-85 over the IS-2 is that it fades the Pat guns, because like the Pat guns just ain't going to be able to creep up onto it. So. Anyway, well, it's all fallen apart. The wheels have come off the bus, and TIE Flieger will die a hero of the Soviet Empire, but he will still die, and that is all that matters here. Happy Cat here, navigating what was just a story of early game domination, dealing a shattering blow when he destroyed that T-70 and took out a number of Soviet infantry squads. TIE Flieger took him a good while, but I'm safe to say, did actually recover from that. You know, there were times in this game after that event where I feel like TIE Flieger was basically back to even, back to parity. But Tiger tanks are really good. And there was a moment there where he built an Su-85 and then he cancelled it to go for an IS-2. And I actually think, and I know this is just me going on and on and on about how tank hunters are the way, but I really think that Su-85 would have been better, because it would have come out sooner, it fades the Pat guns, it provides line of sight for your Katusha, so you have a better idea of what you're shooting at. It's actually better against your main problem, which is the Tiger. Okay, it doesn't help you very much against the infantry, but you're kind of dealing with the infantry in other ways, and you can deal with the infantry with other much more affordable units as well. So you can buy the Su-85 and then supplement that with another Maxim, or more conscripts, or more shock troops, or whatever it is that you want to be adding in. Those things are really affordable. What's not affordable is fuel units, of course, and so that's why you have to pick between the Su-85 and the IS-2. And for the reasons that I've outlined, I really think the Su-85 was the better choice. Out faster, provides line of sight, better against the Tiger. It's actually cheaper, so you can probably afford another fuel unit. Like if you want to go up to double Katusha and really start cheesing your opponent, like that's a thing you can afford. If you'd have gone for Su-85. So I don't know. I just feel like the IS-2 is a very nice unit, and it's very appealing. I get it. It's really strong. But when your opponent has Tiger, double Pat gun, and the dynamic of the game is that you are behind and have to push out onto the map, is an IS-2... I mean, there are timelines where the IS-2 is able to achieve that, but I feel like you need so many things to go your way. I'm not really sure that it was that realistic of a plan for victory in this game. Easy for me to say, of course. I'm sitting up here in my caster's chair with no fog of war, able to kind of cast my judgment on the decisions of these players, and obviously when you're sat where they are, frantically microing units, listening to the horrendous amounts of your units getting gibbed, and trying to make decisions on the fly based on the information you have and what your feeling of the game is from the player's perspective, it's completely different. But those are my thoughts on the game, so there we go. Wow, what a cool one to have caught out on there on the ladder. I actually don't have time today to jump into another one. But though, I mean, I'm still in lockdown, so anticipate more casts over the days to come. For now, though, thank you very much for choosing to spend your time with me today, and this for now, Magpie842 signing out.